and welcome back here to the Super Smash Bros. Marathon. We are in the midst of streaming this documentary series, and again, I'm Prague. This is Solid Jake. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm having a blast. It's been an awesome event so far. I've talked to a lot of big names that have been involved in the community since, some newer than others, and but some guys have been here since, well beyond us. Yeah, that's for sure. So.
And speaking of some of those people that have been around for ages, you just saw the episode based on Mew2King. And we've got two guests here that know a bit about the robot. So I'd like to introduce, representing Clash tournaments, of course, Mark Korsak, ChiboSempai, and
the Spinning Circle of Death, Waz.
Yes. How are you doing, gentlemen?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for having us.
A pleasure, a pleasure. So, Waz, we're going to talk to you first. Are you there?
All right. Thanks so much for asking.
Fantastic. Now, Waz, I want you to dispel, I hear you loud and clear, buddy. I want you to dispel a rumor. I heard that your early days were with Mew2King, that he met you on the Game FAQ's message board. Is there any truth to that, or can you expound, or what?
Yeah, let me explain. It was probably way back, like in 04, 05, actually. So this is way before anyone really knew who Mew2King was. And if anyone remembers Ryoko Yaksa, he was this Peach player in New Jersey. Yep. He and I got together, and we met up with Mew2King, I think at Drew University. And, I was just chilling, and I was like, yeah, I'll play some Smash with people, sure. And Mew2King was there. I didn't really know who he was. I think I met him on GameFAQs a few times. That's where he was really known. And, we would just play a few games of Smash, and back then he played Peach, I played Falco, and for some reason, he was so amazed by my short hop lasers. Like, I wasn't really even that great, but he was so amazed that it blew his mind. And then he went on GameFAQs, made a topic, no lie, and MTK will tell this story if you ask him. Yeah, I totally did that. He makes a topic that goes, Waz is the best at Falco's short hop laser. And he just I just crack up about it because I'm such a terrible player, and it's just a funny story that I always think about talking about M2K. But yeah, this is back then before he was really well known, which is really funny that I always think about.
And of course, I mean, Cibo.
So it's not a rumor. If the question if it's a rumor, no, it's not a rumor. It's a completely true story, and M2K will say yes, that really did happen.
Awesome, and it's just good to hear you recount that because I've always wanted to hear it myself. Now, Cibo, you're from South Jersey, if I recall, correct?
That's correct, right next to Atlantic City.
Right, so you actually weren't too far from Mr. Zimmerman, actually. He was over in Cinnamonson, correct?
Yep, it's only maybe a little over an hour from my house. There's so few players in South Jersey, but it's I think the quality of players. I mean, Mew2King is one of the few players that actually represents our area. It's sure, he's a New Jersey player, but he's not in North Jersey where all the common tournaments are found. He's more South Jersey, next to Philadelphia, Atlantic City, that kind of area. Right.
So actually, you have come to know him extremely well the past few years. How about you go into depth on that?
Well, I did want to start off by saying the story, kind of how we met, which I thought was kind of interesting, because I really enjoyed Waz's story, and I love how it's oh my God, Waz is the best at short hop lasers. When I started out going to college at Drexel University in Philadelphia, which is around the time I also met you as well, Prague, I used to hold tournaments at my dorm back in 2006, and the first tournament we had was 30 or so people, and Cactar and Pac-Man came and just destroyed everybody. So then the second tournament we had on a Friday night, we were no professional players, don't come and destroy us all that badly in our dorm. And Mew2King came because he was housing at Cactar's the night before a tournament because it was a Friday night. And I remember him because he wasn't allowed to enter the tournament. And I look back, I'm like, oh wow, that's such an odd thing to do now. But he stayed in my dorm room while we were holding the tournament in the common room, and he just sat there and played Cactar. And it was the first time I got to meet him. I think he might have exchanged maybe 2 words tops with us. Wow. But just seeing this skill, because it was really my first foray in a competitive Smash, it just was completely mind-blowing. But ever since then, throughout Melee, and then even more so when Brawl happened, because when Brawl came out, me, Velocity, and Mew2King together literally traveled to every single tournament we could find on the East Coast every single Saturday, doing day trips to Virginia, 5 hours and back, no problem. So that was the point where I got a lot closer to him, got to learn more about him. And now with Clash Tournaments, he's actually the reason why I started the sponsor division. It was one, to kind of help give back to professional players, the revenue I was getting from advertisements on my stream and YouTube, so I can help kind of give back like a little extra something beyond their prize winnings, help show them like for their hard work and what to do for our community. And then the other reason was because there was a lot of issues around the time, going like 2010, 2011, with Mew2King, like a lot of stories originating on the internet, many of them actually false, which people don't know, when he was dropped from MLG and Brawl. And I set out to kind of use my notoriety through class tournaments and my experiences in being sponsored through FYC and VVV to create the sponsor division, really to the goal to increase Mew2King's image, because he's the household name of Smash, and I really want to do my hardest to help kind of turn him around. And I feel like as the years go on, even before class tournaments, he's become such a better player and, but most importantly, a person. And I feel like it's really done a lot for him. And just seeing him in the community nowadays, he's really a great member to have.
Yeah, that's really great. I mean, I've known Jason for a very long time, and you can definitely see the difference. I mean, before, I remember the first time, actually, my first national I played against Mew2King and Isaiah, round 1 and 2v2 at Cataclysm 2, and that's not an exciting experience because you know you're going to lose. And I just remember shaking his hand was like, even that was kind of awkward. But nowadays,
can I tell a story really quick about shaking his hand? I remember back in MLG 06 in New York, and he had won a match. I forget against who, but I always used to tell this story. And by the way, everyone has an M2K story.
Yeah,
Let's face it. If you've interacted with
absolutely.
M2K, you have an M2K story.
Absolutely.
And I have a bunch. But I remember way back then, I would go and shake his hand. It was kind of flimsy. I remember. I just kind of grabbed it flimsy, and then I was like, no, hold me tight like a man. And then he kind of squeezes me tight, and I try to let go, but his hand was really sweaty. So I would like peel off, and I just felt like, ugh. But but you know, about M2K, it's definitely different now. Like if you go and greet him and you want to shake his hand or give him a pound, he'll give it to you straight on. Like,
absolutely.
It's amazing how much he's changed.
And sociably, the guy is great. I mean, you can hold the conversation with the guy, and you know, he's an awesome guy, and he like you said, he is definitely a household name for the community. I mean,
definitely.
A lot of people know Ken's name, and the other big name, especially in modern day like esports, is everybody knows Mew2King. Everyone.
So what more can you say? I mean, a lot of people, when they say who is the best Smasher of all time, I have to throw my vote to him, not just because of his prowess in Melee, but in multiple games.
Yeah, it's, you know, no one has ever held the title in both games except for him.
Right.
It's not even both games. If you guys don't realize either, he plays 64 a lot.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was like agreeing with you, like how he plays 64 a lot. I'm sorry.
He actually at a Smasher back in August, he played 64. This Smasher is a tournament I hold in my region, and he actually stalled with Kirby the whole time. And keep in mind, 64 doesn't have a timer, and M2K likes to stall. So without a timer, M2K would just up tilt and stay away from everyone and up tilt with Kirby all day. And it went to a point where the 64 community had to get together and change their rule set, change their game and everything just because of M2K. So he has that much of an impact on all 3 Smash games. And I can only imagine what he could do with Smash 4.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're already hearing that he's looking to make waves in Smash 4. He said that after its release, he's looking to claim the crown once again in the new iteration.
And I expect it to happen. I'd be shocked if it didn't, because you know, I was really competitive in Brawl when it first came out, and you were talking about how you traveled a lot with Velocity and Mew2King, and I was big into 2v2 in Brawl, and I lost to them countless times. We would always be in, you know, semifinals or finals, and it was always Mew2King and Velocity just stealing the throne from us at my own tournaments.
Well, I mean, I think Mew2King is going to have some competition in Smash 4, of course, with his Empire Arcade brethren in Armada, because they are both already looking for that crown. And of course, you know, Mew2King has been on a tear recently, and I know, Chibo, you've been raving about it. Why don't you just tell us, you know, about his second half of the year?
I honestly can't remember the last time he lost a tournament. It's that scary, to the point where it's interesting because as he's gotten more focused in Melee recently after Evo and the Smash documentary, he's been focusing a lot more on that, and he kept telling me, I don't know how I feel about Brawl anymore. Should I keep playing it? I don't even really care that much about it right now. And yet, before he said that, he was still like always getting top 3, maybe the random 4th every now and then, but still losing some key players in our area. But as soon as he said that and he started focusing on Melee, he hasn't lost a single Brawl tournament since then. So not only has he been winning everything in Melee, conquering his fears over Hungrybox, and he just beat Mango, I believe, a month ago without his glasses because he left them at the person's house he was staying with. Just another Mew2King moment. But in Brawl, he's been besting all of his opponents that have been beating him earlier in the year, but now that he just doesn't care, it's really changed his mindset into where we're at a point where in the last few months, he hasn't lost anything. And I believe at the most recent Smashaker, the series that Waz has mentioned, there were, I think, 7 tournaments there between all the singles and doubles for 64, Melee, Brawl, and Project M. He won every single one of them with some really intense competition. That's
quite impressive. Let's just segue right from that and see what you guys are both up to nowadays. So Smashaker is a tournament series that you are, known for. Waz, are you running events again? I mean, what's your plan moving forward?
Yeah, actually, I'm really looking forward to running more events. Just to let you guys know, if you back in 06 and 07, I used to run Smashtality with TSA, Smash Affiliates, and I love running tournaments. And the reason why I like running tournaments is because I always find someone new. And you never know if that new person is going to be that new, like Prague says, that hidden boss that comes out of nowhere. And I always tell people who come in for the first time, checking out a tournament, hey, when you come in, expect to lose, but gain a lot of experience. Seriously, that's what you really want to gain out of it.
Right. Yeah.
By the way, I am holding another Smashaker. I'm thinking about March in Jersey. So if you guys want to come in, free plug, advertisement, hashtag Smashaker, come on in. That'd be great.
Absolutely, man. That sounds awesome.
And Cibo, how about you? I mean, you've been doing a lot of traveling recently.
I've been traveling, oh my gosh. This is, I think, the most I've ever traveled in my life. And just in September, I traveled to Michigan, and then 2 weeks later, traveled right to Texas. I've never done flights like that so close to traveling all across the country. But right now, December's been a little quiet, but that's just because of Apex coming up, because I'm also one of the leading staff members of Apex, so a lot of my work's been dedicated to that as well. So a lot of it's been balancing work for that, but also preparing announcements for Clash tournaments, because I have a lot of cool things in store. Some partnerships with some companies that you guys know that I can't wait to unveil, and I actually did just update our website, clashtournaments.com, and get it out in maintenance mode because of this happening today. So you can all check that out and follow our website. We can get a whole bunch of videos and articles from Mew2King too. Like, I remember in his episode in the documentary, he talks a lot about his frame data. He compiled all the frame data he used back in early 2005 or so, right, before we knew about Action Replay and how to use that. And he would tell me about these methods. He would put pieces of paper up to his TV measuring things and how he figured out his frame data. What? And all of his original documentation on that frame data is actually available on the homepage of our website too.
That's dedication.
I'd like to comment on that. Actually, when I first met M2K, that's all he would ever talk about. Did you know this? Did you know that? Did you know the frames of this and that? So I just remember that being really unique about him. That's probably why people call him the robot, not just because it's like he can see the frames almost. That's the impression I got of him. Like, he just knows this stuff. And he didn't just do it for Smash. He did it for a lot of games too. He had a website dedicated to Halo too, I think. All his frame data. And he's just that type of guy. He just likes to compile all these statistics and all these numbers, and he just applies them really well in game.
That's really cool. I mean, we've always known that, but I didn't realize his methods were that, intense. I always assumed it was Action Replay, honestly.
Well, I mean, there are only 2 people that we know play with 2 controllers at the same time. One is Mew2King, the other is Sakurai, so that's pretty good company.
Wow.
All right, so Waz and Cibo, thank you both for being on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
thank you for having us.
It's been great, guys. We're actually going to be jumping right into a show match after a quick commercial break. We're going to have essentially the winners match between our 2 winners from the show matches today. We have Wes and we have Hacks.
Yes, yes.
So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.